I'm Christopher Jørgenvåg. I am the co-founder and CEO of Hive. Hive builds infrastructure to make labor a resource that is infinitely scalable. One of the early things that we did in Hive was to partner up with some customers and build it together with them. They have margin squeeze, they want to be more efficient, they want to be more safe, they want to make sure that you can take kind of people out of potential dangerous situations, and of course, increase throughput over time. And especially if there is limited access to physical labor, we solve that problem for them. They can make the machine drive by itself, do its own work. They can make all of these different machines that they already have smart and make a silicon brain for that. Current model is that a human does some thinking and uses his hands to control a machine. And that's how you do heavier physical work today. And we have what I call a carbon brain, which is our brain. And that costs maybe $40-50 an hour all in. And now you can do part of that with a silicon brain, which is basically a GPU. And that silicon brain costs probably $1 per hour. So what you want to do is you want to take some carbon and you want to take some silicon and you want to combine those to create actions. Actions in the real world. Currently, maybe you can mix 50% carbon and 50% silicon. So then you are at around $20 an hour, so half price. End of next year, most likely, this will be 90% silicon and 10% carbon. And then you can take a process called reinforcement learning and you feed that learning back into the silicon, and that improves operations over time. And then you have 99% of the silicon brain and 1% of the carbon brain, which is 1/10 of the price. That puts us in a position where we can reduce kind of the cost of labor to almost nothing. So it makes complete sense to train systems like the silicon brain and move it to places where it is currently super expensive to do stuff. Kind of building roads, making tunnels. This project that's difficult to build because it's too costly will then be cheap. What we can do subsea, what we can do on Earth, what can we do in space. What will happen here is that labor will become infrastructure, and that's what Hive is building. We are building the infrastructure for physical labor, and this will have massive implication for any traditional business doing physical work. All of them needs to adapt to this. We can do stuff that would be impossible to do before, and that is super exciting.